are back. National Non-Smoking Week underway, and here's the arduous task of how do you quit smoking? Dr. Milan Kara from Vancouver Coastal Health is here to shed some light on the subject. Welcome.
Thank you.
Obviously a tough habit to break. How difficult is it for the average person who has been a smoker and have this a part of their lifestyle to create a sustainable change?
Well, for some smokers, it's certainly tough. I mean, it's not unusual for those who use tobacco to have had multiple quit attempts, and they continue to struggle. For example, we have good data that in any given previous year, about half of all smokers have tried at least once to quit. So it's tough for some smokers, for sure.
Different approaches to it. Some just try and do it cold turkey and say, I'm going to shift my lifestyle. What do you find for those that go that aggressive direction of what they find and how successful they are?
Yeah. So by cold turkey, what we really understand is that they're not getting any other kind of support. They're just doing it themselves. They're gritting their teeth. They're saying, okay, I'm going to do it. And that's okay. For some people, cold turkey works. But I guess my message as somebody who spends my work time, my hospital time, helping people to quit is that there are ways in which you can improve your chances of success.
And let's look at those ways, the healthcare programs that exist. What options are out there to get that support, as you mentioned, and be successful with this?
Okay, so there are two government programs which are available to every single person in the province at no cost. One is to get some counselling support from quitnow.ca. It's got a telephone counterpart, it's got a text message counterpart, but you can find it online at quitnow.ca, and you can get some really good counselling support, some supportive information, and some tips and strategies that are going to make quitting more likely. That's one. And the other one is the BC Smoking Cessation Program, which is a free medication program, essentially. And so every individual in the province is entitled to 12 weeks free of nicotine replacement therapy per year. That's patches, lozenges, gum, or an inhaler. 12 weeks per calendar year, per person, no cost.
And what are the normal symptoms of what you go through when you say, I'm going to create this change? What are the characteristics that you could just expect going through this process where you say, this is normal, this is a part of it?
So for those who struggle, they typically struggle to quit because they're tobacco addicted or they're nicotine addicted, and they get the very predictable withdrawal syndrome when they try and stop, and that is irritability, craving, agitation, changes in mood, etc., etc. Anybody who's been a smoker will recognize some combination of those symptoms. And for many people, that's what makes quitting difficult. And so those patches, pills, etc., those things that we get from the BC Smoking Cessation Program will reduce the intensity of those symptoms and make success more likely.
And say you go through this program, you have quit, and then you go backward, and then you start using tobacco again.
Yep.
Do these government programs still support you if you have a hiccup?
Yeah, and that's one of the real strengths of this government program, is that you're entitled to access this 12 weeks of free medication every calendar year. So if you try now, if you have some success, if you relapse in the summer, you've only got to wait a few months and you can get the medication again free at the beginning of the next year. You can buy it in the interim, but if you want to get it free, the government will give it to you every year.
Timeline for when we start to see health benefits when we quit?
So this is one of the things that a lot of long-term tobacco users sometimes fail to recognize, and that is that the benefits of quitting actually start almost immediately. So your blood levels of carbon monoxide, which is a bad gas that you find in cigarette smoke, start to go down within 8 hours of your last cigarette. So your risk of having a heart attack is starting to go down on the same day that you quit. And the benefits, your risk of having a heart attack is about the same as that of a non-smoker by about 5 years. Your risk of developing lung cancer is the same as that of a non-smoker by around 10 years. Lots of benefits, but they start immediately.
And final question, the idea that we were just chatting about before the camera came up, third-hand smoke, for people that smoke inside their house still, the health concern for non-smokers that are entering inside that arena.
Right, so for a long time, I think we've understood that second-hand smoke is not good, that those who are exposed to the smoke of other people actively smoking increases their risk of disease. We know that, we understand that. But increasingly, we're understanding that third-hand smoke, which is the stuff that comes off clothing, off curtains, off bed linen, is is also potentially harmful. So we need to recognize that as well as a potential risk to those who are exposed.
Well, plenty of resources you've outlined. Thanks so much for coming on. Let's throw the number up on screen where you can find out more. If you'd like to register and get involved with National Non-Smoking Week and help make a change in your life. Doctor, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me.
Great insight. We'll take